and welcome back to my channel, Nerd It This Way. I'm Mahalia, and today I'm going to be talking about, his name. I had his name on my tongue and I can't pronounce it. So, Paolo Bacigalupi. Bacigalupi. That's a tongue twister. Bacigalupi. It's like Luffy. Okay, anyways. But his book, The Windup Girl, ignore the sticker. I can't get the sticker off without like messing up the book, so I was like, oh, I'm just not gonna do that. So I have read this for my OWL's Divination exams, which for the healer career path choice, it is optional. It was one of the three, elective sets. And so if you watched the video on Saturday, then you know that I have also finished my charms exam, which is really exciting. And I'm currently halfway through my herbology test, which I am reading The Wishing Spell by Christopher Colfer. I'm reading his book for herbology. So I'm going to go through the pros, the cons, and was it worth it, and what I'm going to do with the book. Because a lot of people, not to say you're one of those people, but you might be, who knows, I don't know you that well. You might see all these booktubers with all these books and these hauls, and you're like, do they read those books? Like, seriously, like, are they whipping through them books, or are they just gathering books because they're like book hoarders? And you might be right on both accounts, but my plan is I am not buying another book that has, if it's like, okay, so I'm not buying another book for fun. I have to buy books for my classes, so that's a little different unless I have the books, and then I can maybe get away with that. But my goal is to read both shelves, this one and that one. I might do a count of how many books I have left on my TBR shelves. There's a lot, so I'm kind of like not really looking forward and intimidated by the number of books I have left. So yeah, that was a really long intro, but yeah, that's my intro. Okay.
Mahalia, in this world, you must know who you are.
This is a two-person, it's kind of a three-person point of view, but it follows two people. So we're following Emiko, which is the Windup Girl, and we're following Anderson Lake, who is a calorie man. This is a futuristic world where humanity has we're ruined. Like, they have cars, but cars are a luxury, and there are like genetically spliced, if you saw the movie then you know spliced, engineered cats called Cheshires, and they brought back megalodons and just all this stuff. I think there's a picture, yeah. So they brought back megalodons, which I think, I'm not too sure, so I'm not gonna, be like, yeah, this is it. I don't know. But they're like the bigger elephants, not mammoths, but not elephants. They're like in between that. I don't know. I could be wrong. I might be wrong. But anyways, so Anderson is an investor in this calorie company, which is helping produce different types of supplement food kind of thing. And so there was a incident at his factory, and he's stressed. He's thinking about, oh, I'm sorry, you don't even know where this is. So this is in Asia. So they're in Thailand. And so the world has went to, I shouldn't say that. The world have, I hope I can beep this out because that would be really helpful. But everyone's gone to Thailand because Thailand is like the last place that hasn't like just destroyed itself with disease and overpopulation and all this other stuff that's inflicted over there. in this world. And so he goes to a brothel to kind of get some secret intel on some of the government officials to get them on his side, because he has this like master plan to help himself further up the chain of financial freedom. I don't know. Maybe financial freedom? It's very vague on what his end goal is, but he wants to make more money. And so he goes to this brothel, and that is where we meet M.E.Ko, which is a wind-up girl, which is like, if you remember, oh, a lot of you won't remember, but those of you who remember those like teddy bears that you have to crank, and then they make noise and they dance and they do all that creepy stuff, and you just had to crank them. That's kind of the idea behind the wind-up girl. The wind-up girl is a Japanese doll, in a sense. Like, they have different classes. There's military grade, there's, you know, sex worker, there is nanny, all that stuff, but mostly found in Japan. And Japan is still around, is still kicking. It's kind of like saving themselves and things like that. And so M.E.Ko was left in Thailand by her boss, and she is a wind-up girl that is defective, so she overheats. And so although she has this perfect skin, perfect face, perfect boobs, all this stuff, she overheats, and then her body kind of dies, it kills itself from the heat. And so we follow those two characters because, of course, they run into each other due to whatever incident that happens. I don't want to spoil anything. So they run into each other because M.E.Ko has information that Anderson needs. And so in Anderson's shop, his factory, his manager is a yellow card, which is a Chinese man who survived the voyage to Thailand. He survived all this stuff, and he is a shady character. So he's like our antagonist, kind of. He's like an opportunist. He's not an anti-hero. He's shady as hell. But in the grand scheme of things, in order to pinch pennies, he winds up creating this like domino effect that ends up just wrecking through everyone's lives, because he's trying to save himself. And so the book starts off so slow. I was like confused by everything. All like the scientific terms, all the splicing, and like all the new creatures that they were talking about. I was like, okay, this is a lot to take in. And so, you know, I am with names. And so I was butchering names, and I was like, oh, this is, ooh, I can't even get into the book because I can't say the names. This is frustrating. But I get past it. And so M.E.Ko is like just trying to survive, and you fall in love with her, and you want her to survive all these awful people who hate wind-up girls, because most people who know wind-up girls, they think of a military AI unit. And she's like, that's not how I am. I'm so sorry. Like, she's more like a geisha. But if you follow me on Goodreads, you know that I was like, M.E.Ko snaps. She snaps hard, and she snaps fast, and she snaps on everyone. And it's wonderful. It's like iRobot with women. It's dope. It's so dope. And then, you know, now that everything has ruined and our characters like trying to save themselves in this mud of nonsense that they put themselves in, of course, you're kind of like sitting back like, well, what like, is this book good or is it bad, or like the ending, like what's going on? So now we get into pros, cons, and is it worth it? I know I had to give you the summary so I can kind of, because then you wouldn't understand my pros. Well, you still don't until you read the book. But you get what I'm saying. So, the pros. I loved the fact that they used a AI. And then I loved the fact, because you know I like anime. So I love the whole Japanese inspiration to a lot of the digs that they had. and all the small details that you're kind of like, yeah, that's funny. Like, oh, that's crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's like, it had all those moments where it's like, oh my God, what's gonna happen now? So it kept you invested, even though it was slow in the beginning. It kept you wanting more, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna put this book down, and then you're like, oh no, I can't. I gotta keep reading. Oh no, what's gonna happen? M.E.Gosla, Anderson, what's gonna happen? And you're like, yes. Depending on who you root for, you're like, yeah. I was like, yes. Victory is ours. But the cons were like, oh, so many make or break moments that I was kind of willing to put the book down, and I didn't rate it very high. I think I gave it a 4 to 3 out of 5 stars because I was so confused with all the splicing they did that it was like, where are all these random people and stuff like that. So the cons were the randomness, the random people, the side characters didn't really make sense. They kind of jumped in and they jumped out. And another con was that some of the things that were wrong were not really like big issues. Like, everything was tries to make it bigger than what it was, but it was kind of like, that's not that serious. Like, you could have made this bigger than that. So that's a preference thing, which I get. And another con would be the length. Normally I don't complain about book lengths, but this book is too long to not be that good. And then it's a preference thing, because some people, when I was reading the reviews, they were like, oh, it's so good, it's wonderful, it's this. And it's good for people who like really futuristic, sci-fi, science-y stuff. It's going to be really good read for you. For me, not so much. Not so much. I bought it, obviously. But I will be unhauling it because I didn't love it. I liked it. And I don't want to keep anything that I won't reread, because I think that's a waste of shelf space. And that's just something I do. I don't believe in keeping anything that I'm not going to use again or reread. So that I believe it's worth reading for science fiction fans. Like, if you're a science fiction fan, you'll enjoy it, but you also might find things wrong with it because you're such a fan. You might be a little more nitpicky than I was. I'm more of a fantasy kind of person. So when they brought up like the creatures they created, oh, it's upside down. I was really excited because they did the Alice in Wonderland Cheshire Cat, and I love Alice in Wonderland. But aside from that, I was like, this, I'm glad I read it. Like, that's it. So I don't know how you feel about this review. It might be like, I'm trying not to spoil too much because there's so many spoilers that could be said that I just kind of give the whole book away, which is probably why it should be shorter. But if you're new to the channel, hi. If you have done your divination exam, what did you read? And have you read The Windup Girl? And are you interested in it? Because it wasn't bad. And you know I love Japanese inspirational stuff. So much. So much. But that wasn't for me. Wasn't my cup of tea. If you are a subscriber, happy Monday. The week has started again. Motivation Monday. My quote of the year, my kind of like my goal thing is get money, pay bills. To some people, like Chelsea, yeah, get money by Prada, because you know some people make really good money. So go you, go you. But if you are going back to the new people, like, share, subscribe, because I do this Monday and Friday, but I will be sprinkling a little bit more possibly throughout the week, maybe like Wednesdays. That seems like a reasonable time for me. And if you share my content, that would be lovely. I need to do a March wrap up. My bad, I didn't even like think about that. I just jumped into OWL and was like, more books to read, more books I have, and I didn't think this through. I'm also really tired because I've been working out, and I worked out really early this morning. So if you're wondering why I look disheveled, it's because I had a great workout at like 8 a.m. Yeah. Yeah. So that is it for me. I know that the ending was just really long and drawn out. My bad for that. But I will hopefully be done with Land of Stories today and possibly put up a review, maybe, fingers crossed, for Wednesday. Because it's actually a really funny book. It's really good so far. And then I have 3 more exams. Maybe not. Maybe like 4 more exams. I'm not too sure. But hopefully I can get through these next few exams for OWL. If you don't know what that is, I will put the video announcement down below. It is a Harry Potter exam readathon by Book Roast. You should look her up because she's amazing. And for Camp NaNoWriMo, I possibly will do a video on writing Friday because I'm learning so much in my course and I just want to share it with the world so everybody could just be better writers. Not to say you're a bad writer, but you might need some help. Everybody needs improvement. So yeah, I'm rambling again. But this is a serious ending. I hope you guys have a great week and I will see you guys again. Bye.